everybody, and welcome back to Oasis. So, before we get started, I do want to just mention that part of what I have learned over this last year, going on 2 years actually, I think, for how long I've had this YouTube channel. But basically, I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly trying to be better. I mean, it might not seem like it, but, or do better, because, I mean, I admit, there is a use for downvoting things. Like, if it's trash, yeah, but if it's trash, say it's trash. Only be polite about that unless you know the person. And even then, like, I don't know. It's sorry, also while we're doing that, let's go ahead and get more saplings because you can never have too many. And we do need a lot of jungle wood for what I've got planned. So, um anyways, yeah, so right there, like, so I have a PS5 and I love this thing. I can just record and then it uploads to YouTube, which I have linked, and then I actually have two accounts linked and a private other account. No, I'm just kidding. It's my daughter's, but like it's not her. I don't know. It's actually my videos that are going to it, and that's why I kind of felt bad because one actually said a curse word in, and it caught it, which is awesome. I'm so glad YouTube does that because I don't have the bandwidth to censor my videos yet. And I don't want some kids stumbling on it. It is a Minecraft video, so right there. And even though I say no, it's not made for kids, I also don't make them age restricted. Which so if someone's able to be signed in on their parents' account, or actually if they're signed in on their parents' account, then it doesn't matter. I think not made for kids means if they're not signed in, so it's really more on the responsibility of the parent to make sure that it's only kids if they only want them watching only kids. So, anyways. Sorry, that was like a whole nother rabbit hole. But anyways, sometimes I curse. I don't intend to, but I call them adult words, and that's how I taught my kids is, because that also gives adults a pass. Like, it doesn't make it okay. Like, I mean, it's still like not great to say in front of people, and so adults that abuse adult words, it's not polite in custom society. So, or in society, or no, how's a better way to say that? It's not polite. There, that's good enough. Also, I think I need that because yeah. And I think we're missing. Is there not one over there? Okay, maybe not. Alright. We'll see it better when we're coming down, if there's like a log hidden in there. But anyways, no, my point is so I got a PS4, PS5, got both actually. And both are linked too, so I can record from either one. And I have too. I've recorded from the PS4 when I was trying to figure things out. It was just easier. I think it was before I even had this linked. And anyways, um, but that still means I need to put a title on it, put a description. I mean, these videos are nowhere near like done or ready. I mean, they're still pretty new. If you look at the dates, well, yeah, everything's like within 1 to 2 years on my channel. So, and if you look at a lot of popular videos, they're usually about a year or two old, or at least like 6 months, I'd say, for, I don't know, is a good estimate. So I feel like even then, like if a video is still up after 2 years and it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, then it's kind of like I know that my videos aren't popular based on how they don't have likes. If they don't have likes, then okay. I don't know. I'm still just trying to figure out if there's any reason why I would argue back against myself. And so that's kind of like a thing is you got to play the I think some call it the devil's advocate, like poke all the holes in the theory you can so you don't get them poked later. And in computer science, and how I like to say it is more check for blind spots or corner cases. Computer science is more corner cases. I like to think of it as blind spots because that's what it is. It's not like you intentionally set out to be like, I'm going to write this code so somebody's get their money stolen. Like, no, that doesn't happen. That's not real. It's someone goofed almost every time. Now, yeah, there's times where it's like maybe somebody is in on the take and like, oh, I'm going to leave a back door in here so I can sell it to, that's doing that. And, for whatever motives they have for that, doing that, that's a different thing. So, and again, we're looking. And by that, I mean we as in every last cybersecurity professional that signed a White Hat Manifesto. It's a really easy oath. I mean, you can print it off. You can have anybody sign it. I mean, and that's what I intend to do if I ever intend to teach red teaming, which I'm not an expert on red teaming. I could teach a little bit. I could teach what I know, but I would much rather teach blue teaming, which is actually what's the most value of. Granted, you need to understand red teaming to be a good cybersecurity professional. And let's be honest, there's not a whole lot of real mavericks out there that like, oh, I used to be this and now I'm this. Like, I hacked NASA and now I got a job at the NSA. Like, yeah, it happens, but not a whole lot. And now we do things called bug bounties where you don't have to be a rock star hacker to go get noticed and do it. Like, you can still hack legally, not worry about going to prison. You know, federal pound me. No, I'm just kidding. That's a, oh, what is that movie off of? Office Space. Oh, that is such a good movie. Office Space. It's in Peter's dream. He's dreaming about going to prison because I won't ruin the. What is going on? Okay, whatever. Sometimes it glitches like that. I have noticed, but like, see that? And I think that is actually what that was. Sorry, let's see. Let's try and move it. Yeah, okay, that's okay. So that one memory location has been corrupted. It now has that. So just don't touch it. You know, until the game gets restarted and the code gets reset. Or sometimes I've seen it actually write itself. Like it's weird. Like there's like that much of a fix to where it's like, oh hey, I need to fix this. Oh, that's right, we were building this thing. Yeah, squirrel. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the computer science, the cybersecurity. So specifically, um, preventative blue teaming. So blue teaming is protection, protecting against malicious attacks. Um, whether intentional or unintentional, state-sponsored like government agencies, or because that's most of them, like, it's most of the dangerous ones, is governments trying to spy on the behalf of governments because their excuse is government. Like, and it's such a wild west. I mean, we're starting to define what's okay and what's not okay in cyber warfare, but ugh, I don't know. But we're also getting much better at protecting. I mean, it is a game of whack-a-mole. And as much as we like to think that we're like the best at everything, it's not that big of a deal for other countries to catch up. But I don't know. So at the end of the day, it's just getting really, really hard to hack people. And it's still easy in certain situations. Don't get me wrong. You still need to be careful. You still need to have a certain level of vigilance, always. A certain level of mistrust, not in people, but in what you're trying to use. So the person sending it, maybe they had a really good excuse. No, probably not. Most of the time, it's probably some, hot-headed teenager going through puberty being like, I'm going to mess this person up. Or I'm going to take their money. Haha, look what I did. Nanner, nanner. And then they realize when they get older, like, oh, that sucks. Like, now I got to work hard and get more money, and now I'm behind on the rent. And, like, now people are going to be disappointed. Ah, man, what a jerk that person was. Not like, oh, wow, he's so cool. He hacked me. Like, you know, just the things that the way people learn. I should make kids books, huh? Like, ah man, he hacked me. Ah, federal pound me. It's a swear word, and I don't want to keep saying stuff like that because if kids are watching this, go watch Office Space. It's a hilarious movie. It's well worth it. It's also very, I'd say crucial. I feel like everybody should watch that movie. I mean, I say that, but it could be pretty stressful, pretty traumatizing. However, trauma and mental health and all of that, there are tons of very wonderful things that are being done in the world today to address mental health. Also, this looks like a Jesus cross. So for any Christians out there, we're actually going to just go ahead and take religion out of this. So no, you know, religion's okay until it's not. It's okay until it's abused. Now, again, abused intentionally or unintentionally, both happen. I mean, it wasn't their intention. And then the pathway to hell is paved in good intentions. That's what you hear a lot. But because a lot of times people don't understand that they're messing up or they're really making it hard for someone else. They don't see it's a faceless crime or a victimless crime. You know, like, oh, it's okay. We can do this one thing because nobody's going to get hurt or nobody's going to know. Like, you can't live like that because chances are somebody is, yeah, it's hurting somebody. Now, granted, I say that, but like the whole Breaking Bad premise, the DEA and drugs, like, yeah, they're bad, but ruining someone's life because of what they do when they're deciding that, like, that's just as dangerous. Like, the punishment can't, like, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. Hammurabi's code. I think that's Hammurabi's. Anyways, I'm pretty sure. Like, 8 out of 10. 80%. Also, look, we got another mangrove tree. A shorter one, but again, not even using the dirt. It's like everywhere except that. Like, it's almost like it cannot grow the one block above the dirt. Let's check out this one. Is it 3 for 3? Yeah. Now, it can be right next to it, and as we saw here, it can even be directly above it with that, but not on it. Oh, such an interesting game. And they just made an armadillo, too. Oh. They just released an armadillo. Now, that won't happen in any of these chunks, because these chunks have already... I don't think so. Actually, as I say that, maybe. Or no, they're only found in the... I forget what they're called, like savanna or high plains, or... Not really those, but it's like the... It's not here, not the desert. I would think it would be in the desert, but... Anyways, there's an armadillo in Minecraft now. I haven't seen one, but we can actually go find one at some point. But let's continue to... Let's see, actually now... Oh, I need a ladder. So let's keep talking about preventative blue team. I haven't talked about it hardly at all. So some of the concepts, and I loosely say the term my concepts, because I just came up with them, but somebody else has definitely come up with them. In fact, I know they have, just maybe they didn't say it the same. And so there's no like copyright or anything on like this stuff. This is all fair game. Take it and run with it, learn, build on it. Like that was part of my comment earlier that was kind of cringe. Yeah. Okay. Also, wait, are those beetroot seeds? They are. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and get... Okay. You know what else I would like? Your leaves. Thank you, sir. And you too. Let's get some leathers. Okay. Cool. And got some leads. Oh, I still had leads from before. Alright, now what else can I give up? Okay. And we'll still come back and get this stuff, but coral is good because then we can use that to terraform down there. Anyways, back to blue team. Sorry, I get distracted playing video games. And that's why I do the tutorial videos better. And I don't know. Anyways, the concepts. Blue teaming. Preventative blue teaming. Trying to, well, first off, fix the issues before they become issues. Like, make it to where somebody doesn't have to steal. But if they do, you know, make it to where, well, they don't get away with it. They get, see, look, it fixed. Right there. So for whatever was glitching with that, now it's done. See? It's fine. It's resilient, but when you study computer science, you start to understand the underlying concepts of why that happens, like things like deadlock and all that. So watch my other videos. Haha. But no, for the cybersecurity, mutually assured construction is the big one. So trusting other people to take things and use them for good. Now, granted, we can't do that until we address some other things, like wealth inequalities, like, and shady business deals too. We gotta own up to it. Like, if our parents and our grandparents like did any shady business deals, guess what? We're gonna have to fix it. And so we have a ton of jungle trees. Let's just go ahead and, whoops. So I mean, just fix it and do it right. That's what needs to happen, basically. Oh, whoops, that was the birch. It was jungle. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh, well. I like the birchwood. I like the birchwood and the other one, too. Birch and diorite. Now, that's what Waddles, one of the YouTubers I watch a lot of for, like, real Minecraft videos. Like, yeah, these are Minecraft videos, but he actually explains them and shows you the mechanics and shows you, like, all the updates and all that. He's very entertaining. But he doesn't like, if I were going to do this. Actually, no. No, we're not. Down here. This will be the story. So we'll leave this for jungle planks. We'll leave that for spruce or mangrove, whatever else we do, and then we can, if we're really getting ambitious, so yeah, we can like build it with scalability in mind. Even though I don't have that type of wood right now, I'm gonna build it with like, well, I don't want to do a lot of work in the future if I do decide to get that. Now, granted, as I say that, we should just take this and put that there, have like an overflow, maybe do that, or whatever. It can be dynamic, just like this, and it can change. Just know that you might have to put in the effort to change it. Now back to jungle planks. Lots of them. Oops. We'll just load up all of these. Now we're in business. We got this whole wall of cooking going. Alright, so mutually assured construction is social engineering to where you're trying to give the people the tools to do good. But you gotta be careful. You gotta assume that they might do bad. But do it in a way to where they'll do good. Teach them, encourage them, and then let them decide. And so that's like the request versus or like the pull versus the push. So if you push ideas on people, you're gonna have a bad time, or you have a potential for having a bad time. Now, if you propose an idea and let them decide, like Bender's upgrade in that one Futurama episode where he's like, "Oh, the XJ9 is great. I love the XJ9," and it freaks everyone out because right before that he was saying, "Oh, what a piece of junk that was," and then we went into the mind of Bender and saw like the crazy roller coaster that was. Um, uh, Whew. Yeah, that was a trip. That was a really good episode. Go check it out. Futurama in general is just like brilliant show. And I am letting my kids watch that. Like they watched Simpsons already. They're aware of what Simpsons are. And honestly, Simpsons, if you're watching Simpsons, like I don't know. That's kind of like that was kind of like a defining moment for me when I was a kid too, because like everything is on The Simpsons. Like there is a brief mention of something, and like whether the kids understand it or not, and then they'll go and dissect it with their friends and be like, "Oh, so what'd you think about this, or what was this?" And you know, they're not stupid. And then kids have older siblings too, so at the same time, it is good to let them enjoy their innocence for as long as possible, but you can't coddle them. I mean, and you can't treat them like they're dumb, because that's going to cause some animosity. Like that's going to cause some trust issues too. I don't know. It's a fine line between all that. So, anyways, pigeonholing, and pigeonholing is definitely not an original idea, but it is a concept I like to talk about. Um, because pigeonholing is where you force someone into a situation. Like not like actual physical, like you're pushing them into a box or anything, but like metaphorically, like, oh, you're a criminal, so you're probably going to do criminal things, or oh, you're black, you're going to do this, or oh, you're white. Basically, racism. You know, racism is pigeonholing. Pigeonholing is just a more in-depth way of describing why that is, and why that is, or why that happens, or why it's important too, is because it's easy for people to do, first of all, because we like to try to understand things, and in doing so, we will cut corners and like draw generalizations accidentally or intentionally, depending on how a day we're doing. You know, there's the potential for both, but also, um, sorry, what was I saying there? So it's important to understand that like people aren't out there like meh, I'm going to intentionally skew the story and be a Karen like, and there you go. You got like Viva La Dirtly who does wonderful Karen videos, and Karen is a mythical creature of a woman who is having a bad day and needs to get something done. Because let's face it, we've all been there. Like I mean, if there's a Ken or whatever, like the male version, like yeah, or a Kyle, or well, Kyle's like drink Monster and punch drywall because that's like the stereotype of the adolescent teenage white boy. Which yeah, oh look at that, mangroves can grow without water. I don't think they're, although I could be wrong. There could be. Oh, so we're gonna need to experiment with that to know absolutely sure. Because there could be naturally generated water underneath the sand, and as long as it's 4 blocks away, and I believe that goes for below. I'm not 100% though. Actually, maybe it is only laterally for crops. Don't we have mangroves? Yeah, we have mangroves. We have dirt. What we're gonna do, so it's explicitly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. And then a mangrove. So now you can see, and also that grass will eventually fade, I believe, but it's kind of cool seeing it. It's like a sedimentary rock formation. Or the way that sediments form, or sedimentary rock forms. Oh, see right there. Oh, now it's down to those. Oh, I guess that makes sense too. Now you can see it from the side because if you put something on top of something. Oh, wait, interesting. Watch this. Oh, it has to decay now? I feel like. Oh, wait, that's only if we tilled it. Then it's back to dirt. Okay. Sorry, just studying the differences of mechanics of grass. Anywho, pigeonholing. Don't be racist. Don't be judgmental, stereotypical. Now, granted, don't make poor decisions. Like, still use your best judgment. And sometimes using your best judgment includes not racism, but age factors. Like, the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed until your mid to late 20s. Now, that's your decision maker in your brain. So, you're not making the best decisions. Now, granted, you're not dumb, but you might let things like the heat of the moment, the heat of passion, or the more things of adolescence, like the things that we've been able to more clearly define and better understand. Why do kids do this? Why do kids do this? Like thinking about South Park, or how do I reach these kids? Well, at risk youth. Well, youth that might not know better, or might not understand, or might not care. Like there's several different ways. So, I mean, there are still times where someone will actually do something bad and mean it. They're having a bad day, or that might be the way they are, and they've just gotten away with it for so long to where they're like a bully or whatever, or they're showing bully traits. But see, right there, I just pigeonholed somebody by calling them a bully. Now, if they bully somebody that day, that doesn't make them a bully for life. They might not, they don't need to tattoo bully on their face, like, but sometimes it feels that way, and there you go. That's how you get gangs. It's like, oh, well, if I'm going to be labeled this, I'm going to do this. And then they're kind of actually saying in that moment, oh, that just gave me a blank check to go do this and go mess around and stuff. So, yeah, it's hard. It's human nature. I'm not saying it's like, oh, how did this happen? Like, what? This is such a surprise. Like, no, this is actually very understandable, a lot of it. Like, that's why I study all this stuff. And, well, that's not why. I grew up around a bunch of corrections. Like, um, Buena Vista is notorious for their medium security prison up there. And it's a beautiful countryside. It's right in the middle of the mountains, and like you see all the 14ers. It's one of the most beautiful places ever. It's a prison. And at night those lights shine up into the sky, and it's like a beacon of like, oh hey, there's the prison. And I don't know, actually, as I say that might actually kind of be comforting to people that have friends or family that are in prison. They're like, oh, I can always see them. I didn't even think about it that way. I mean, it's a horrible situation, but maybe that is like subtle things about trying to make light of a bad situation. Like, granted, yes, we're in the middle of the country. This is one of the most secure places. Colorado is like, yeah, one of the most secure places. It's the farthest away. It's like, it's equidistant farthest from everything else. So, yeah, so we'll lock up the people that need to be locked away, that don't need to be accessing, the world criminals. I don't know. But even though, like, we tried to do it with Australia and England, I mean, like, and now we're realizing, oh, how could we be that dumb? How could, people be that stupid? And it is we, like, it's people. It's not some alien race came down and replaced us. And like, oh, now we understand things better. It's no, now we have communication technology. Oh my gosh, my favorite class in college. I didn't think so at the time. I thought it was boring in the very beginning. I was like, this is dumb. Journalism class. Pfft, I'm a computer scientist. I'm going to go do big things. I'm going to be a Zuckerberg or a Bezos. No. I mean, granted, you can be, but, how does Zuckerberg sleep at night? I don't know. Probably pretty well, probably horrible sometimes. He's human. He's people. But how do you get them to fix things? Put the ideas out there, float them. It's a push, or no, it's a pull versus a push economy. So if people like the idea, they'll pull it. They'll copy it, they'll replicate it, they'll remix it, and they'll maybe do it better. That'd be cool. Actually, you kind of hope they do. That's the point of remixing. Is like, I see what you did there. Now let me try to improve on it. And it's kind of respect too. Like, musicians used to sample music and be like, "Oh, I like that. Now, hey, I want to do something. Now, can I?" And then like people would step on toes, be like, "Oh, hey, that wasn't yours." And especially when they start making money, it's like, "Wait a minute, that was my beat or this and that." And like, that was my idea, my inspiration, and you took it. And now you're making money. Like, granted, even if they had it, they might not be able to make money with it. It depends on a lot of other factors than just good music, or at least it used to. Now, not so much. Hmm. Which it makes it more affordable and capitalistic on a global scale. I see what you did there. No, and I don't think that was intentional, but we accidentally like made the world capitalistic. And not that that's a bad thing. Like I'm not meaning that as like a nanner nanner boo boo. Like I'm better than you. I'm not saying I hoodwinked you. I'm not saying we tricked you. I'm just saying it's funny in hindsight, but at the same time, it's cool. I'm excited for it because it means that no longer do we have. Well, not that like we were. Oh, let me back up. The Olympics are bad because it's like we just win the medals every year, every time. And I love the Olympics because it's cool to see like what people can do, but there's a downside to it in that it always seems like we've been doing the nanner 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 nanner, sticking our tongues out at people like we're better than you, no matter how well we can say it and show it in our actions and like sportsmanship and camaraderie and I don't even like sportsmanship because it's sportsmanship, like manual, all that stuff. We need to find a better word for it. Granted, it's a great word for it, but it is accidentally patriarchal. Now, a lot of it, I think, was accidental. Because again, even men, like unless like they were going through some jealousy and like they were really angry at the woman, like and it goes both ways too. Like jealousy can make some really ugly situations, but I don't think people back in the day were like so possessed by a devil that doesn't exist, like, out there trying to hurt people. No. And that's true with a lot of things, like, ugh, SO crimes. As much as I hate to admit it, it is. People are people. Now, doesn't mean I have to like it, and it doesn't mean I don't have to fix it. All right, sorry, talking about sexual predators there. Oh, and we have a couple minutes. That's right. I had to take some time to delete stuff. Anyways, the last few social or preventative blue teaming project ideas, because this might be my last one for tonight. Um, the relevancy and irrelevancy of labels. So when you're using a label or racism or stereotype or whatever to try to make a decision, because you're going to. That's how you make educated decisions. If you see someone coming up to you and they look disheveled, they might be dangerous and they might they might cause you harm. Because they might be under the influence of something or they might be in a bad way and they might need money really bad and they might not care if they hurt you as long as they get your money or whatever. And if people get pushed to that point through a lot of times drugs or alcohol or good business even. Um, yeah, so that's why it's right up there in my opinion, like drugs, alcohol, and good business, and quote unquote good business. But anyways, the relevancy and irrelevancy of labels is a concept of where you ask yourself, how relevant is this, and is it important to describe it in this way, or is there a better way to describe it, or is it really all that important to invest like this much time and effort into it? There's a few different meanings of that. Then there's pigeonholing, and then I'm trying to think. The golden trio, which is like the golden rule, like do unto others as you'd have done unto you. And then I added an extra, and that's a Jesus Christian thing, because I grew up Christian, not really practicing now. But anyways, um, so I added to it, and I'm sure other people have too. It's like, and expect nothing in return. And it might even be in the Bible to do that. But like saying it as a catchy way, like the golden trio, like do unto others as you would want done unto you, and expect nothing in return, because they might not be able to. Like, and that's where you get into things like, oh, well, I did this, like, why aren't they doing this? Like, well, maybe they can't, or maybe they don't know to do that. Maybe there's a misunderstanding. Maybe they don't have that on their wavelength. You know, there's a whole slew of reasons why people, especially good Christians, and that's why part of why I'm not a practicing Christian anymore is because I got kind of just tired of it. Like, it didn't seem like a real. Oh, wait. Um, hmm. Sorry. I know I'm going over. There we go. All right, anyways, that's probably closer to 30 minutes. And that's about it. Like, those are the concepts that I'm working on. I came up with some catchy names, but honestly, like, anyone could do it. And probably has. Like, oh, real quick, in Bullet Train, I watched that movie a ton. And again, for the social engineering of it, for like just understanding the psychology of it, like the sociology of it, like how, like understanding it, just like any person, a curious person, like wow. Granted, there's a lot of killing in it; it's very brutal. But anyways, my point is, Brad Pitt in there, who's going through therapy and like learning a bunch of these things, and he's like, every finger you point at me, there's four pointing back at you, and he messes it up. But I've been saying that for years, and like, and I know I'm not the first one to say that either. But every finger you point at me, I used to say there's three pointing back at you. So judge yourself three times as much as you judge someone else. Like, or for every time you come at me, you better come at yourself three times, or examine yourself henceforth three times or thrice as much as, you know, however you want to say it. But for every time you're going to try to be critical of someone else, you should really take a look in the mirror and be like, oh, should I be saying this? Or maybe I should take my own advice with this. And I actually need to do that a lot too. But easier heard than understood is another thing I like to say. And that's where it's like, okay, yeah, I hear that, but do I understand it? And does that mean like, oh, am I going to react in a predictable way that people would think I would react? Or, oh, huh, I'll hear it and just completely blow it off and just not do anything about it. So, anyways, that's the 30 minutes. 31. All right, so much for doing them less than 30. Ta ta, welcome to Oasis. I will see you in the next one. Until next time.